Chosen one. You are not here by accident. Something in your spirit was pulled to this moment, a silent nudge, a divine summons, a whisper from the realms above, calling you by name. Before you even pressed play, heaven had already aligned this message with your hidden identity. You've been feeling it for years, anointed one, that sense that you were different, set apart, marked in ways you could never fully explain. And now the veil is lifting. You are standing at the threshold of a revelation about who you truly are. There have been signs since childhood sensitivities. Others didn't understand storms that hit your life, without warning, pains that cut deeper than they should have. These were not coincidences. They were markers, placed inside you, reminders of the truth spoken over you long before your birth. As written in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, "Before you were formed in the womb, you were known, chosen, appointed." Chosen one. This is your moment of recognition. Your spirit knows it. Your heart feels it. You are about to understand the 7 deep pains that only the chosen endure, and why they were shaping something extraordinary within you. Open your heart now. This is the awakening your soul has been waiting for. Chosen one. Before we go any deeper, I need you to breathe for a moment and recognize something holy. You are not watching this because you were curious or because the title sounded interesting. You are here because heaven has been guiding you step by step into the awareness of who you truly are. Your journey has never been random. Your pain has never been accidental. And the first of the 7 deep pains that only the chosen ones experience is the pain of rejection, a wound that cuts the deepest because it touches both your identity and your destiny. Chosen one, think back for a moment. Remember the friend who suddenly stopped calling you, left your messages on read, or pulled away without giving you a reason. Remember the family member who began treating you differently as if something about you made them uncomfortable. Remember the co-workers who once invited you everywhere, but now pretend they don't see you. You didn't imagine that shift. You didn't overthink it. Something in the atmosphere changed because something in you started awakening. The truth is simple and painful. You did not change. Your light did. And when your light rises, it disturbs people who are still comfortable in their shadows. Your presence exposes things they do not want to face. You remind them of the person they were meant to become, but refuse to be. You remind them of the integrity they abandoned, the faith they left behind, the conviction they once carried but now resist. And when the chosen step into a new dimension of sensitivity, discernment, or spiritual maturity, the atmosphere around them cannot remain the same. Chosen one, your essence challenges people even when you say nothing at all. Your purity confronts compromise. Your sincerity confronts deception. Your strength confronts insecurity. The anointing on your life awakens guilt in people who do not want to change, so instead of transforming, they distance themselves. It is easier for them to reject you than to face themselves. When Jesus began his ministry, even those closest to him doubted him. His own hometown rejected him. People who grew up with him spoke with disdain because they could not understand the divine identity rising within him. And you, anointed one, are walking a similar path. Not identical, but parallel. The rejection you experienced was not because you were unworthy. It was because you were becoming who you were destined to be. This pain, though heavy, serves a sacred purpose. It detaches you from needing human approval, so you can recognize divine approval. If everyone applauded you, you might confuse validation with calling. Rejection removes the noise, so you can hear heaven clearly. Chosen one. I know what that pain feels like. I've lived seasons where people who once called me family suddenly withdrew. I replayed conversations, tried to figure out what I did wrong, told myself maybe I wasn't enough. But I later learned something powerful. When God is elevating you, He will not allow everyone to go with you. Some people cannot survive the altitude you are rising to. Their loyalty would crumble under pressure. Their mindset cannot carry the weight of your calling. Heaven removes them before they have the chance to sabotage your destiny. You began losing people at the same time you began seeking God more deeply. That was not coincidence. Every time you fasted, prayed, drew closer to God, or stopped entertaining old habits, relationships you thought were stable began to shake. This was not abandonment. It was divine filtering. God was cleansing your circle, removing hidden enemies, and protecting your destiny from those who would not honor it. Some people were not meant to stay long-term. They were chapters, not the whole story. Their exit hurt you, but it freed you. Their distance taught you not to cling to what cannot go where God is taking you. You may not have realized it at the time, but those separations were protection disguised as heartbreak. Chosen. One rejection is not a sign that God is displeased with you. It is a sign that He is preparing you for influence, purpose, and divine responsibility. Those who are called to carry heaven's message must first learn how to walk alone. They must learn to trust the unseen voice more than the loud opinions of people who do not understand spiritual things. There will be moments where you want to explain yourself, defend your heart, or fix connections that God has already closed. But hear this. When God removes someone, it is not your job to chase them. When a door closes, it is not your calling to pry it open. The people meant for your destiny will recognize your light, not run from it. They will honor your difference, not resent it. Chosen one rejection did not break you. It positioned you, it prepared you, and it revealed your identity in ways approval never could. Because only those marked by heaven carry a light strong enough to disturb the darkness in others. And the fact that you have felt this pain so deeply is proof that you were chosen long before the world ever knew your name. Let this truth settle in your spirit as we move into the next pain, the silent, sacred loneliness that only the chosen ones ever experience. Chosen one. As we step into the second deep pain that only the anointed ones endure, I want you to prepare your heart. Because this pain is one that many never admit out loud, yet it shapes the destiny of every person heaven has set apart. It is the pain of purposeful loneliness, a loneliness so profound that no crowd, no conversation, no earthly connection can fully reach the depths of it. Chosen one. You know this loneliness well. You can be surrounded by people, laughing, smiling, interacting, and yet feel as if there is a veil between you and the rest of the world. It is not depression, though it has visited you. It is not isolation, though you have spent many nights feeling unseen. It is something deeper, something sacred. It is the kind of loneliness that only those with a divine assignment carry. Because within you exists a world others cannot enter. You see differently. You feel differently. You perceive things long before people around you notice anything is wrong. You sense spiritual shifts, emotional changes, hidden motives, unseen warfare. These abilities are not random sensitivities. They are signs of your identity. Markers placed within you since the beginning. The visions that visit you quietly, the dreams that feel too big, the burdens that weigh too heavy, the insights that strike you out of nowhere, these are not ordinary experiences. They are glimpses of a calling others cannot see. And carrying something only heaven fully understands will always separate you from those who walk only by sight. Chosen one. I know what it's like to try to explain your heart to someone and realize halfway through that they don't have the capacity to understand. I know what it's like to sit at a table full of people and feel like you're from another realm. I know what it's like to silence your dreams because they sound too strange, too spiritual, too intense for the listeners around you. This is the burden of those who walk with heaven's assignment. Others talk about jobs, promotions, trends, and temporary worries. But you, your mind, drifts toward purpose, eternity, destiny. While some argue about politics, you discern the spiritual battle beneath the surface. When others plan for tomorrow, you feel the weight of preparing for the future God is shaping inside you. The gap between you and others widens, not because you think you're better, but because your spirit is tuned to a frequency few even know exists. This loneliness has a divine design. Chosen. One purposeful loneliness is heaven's tool for carving out the space where God speaks to you without interference. The silence that feels so painful at times becomes the very environment where your discernment sharpens your vision, expands your spiritual senses, awaken. People cannot accompany you into every depth God is calling you to. And so heaven separates you not to punish you, but to prepare you. Even Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane walked through a loneliness so crushing that those closest to him fell asleep while he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. He asked them to stay awake with him, and yet they couldn't. They loved him, but they could not comprehend the magnitude of what he carried. That kind of loneliness is not abandonment, it is destiny. Chosen one. The same is true for you. There are prayers you've prayed in the dark that no one knows about. Tears you've wiped away silently because you didn't want anyone to worry. Nights you laid awake, feeling a war inside your chest, a heaviness you couldn't explain to anyone because even you didn't fully understand it. That is purposeful loneliness. And it appears at the most critical moments, moments of decision, moments of spiritual advancement, moments when heaven whispers instructions no one else was meant to hear. Human advice will always point to the safe path, but the spirit within you whispers, trust and go, even when the world says, stay still. And only you can hear that whisper. Only you can carry its weight. Only you can be obedient to it. Chosen one. Your victories are often invisible. The battles you fight are not fought in conversations or arguments, but in the unseen places, your mind, your spirit, your prayers. When victories finally manifest, no one knows the price you paid in private. No one saw the nights you warred in silence. No one witnessed the spiritual storms you endured while the world assumed you were fine. This is why loneliness feels so heavy, because your journey is both hidden and holy. But here is the revelation: loneliness is not your permanent home. Scripture describes seasons when God pulls prophets into solitude, not to abandon them, but to reveal to them things that cannot be spoken in crowds. Your loneliness is an incubator, a spiritual forge, a place where heaven molds you into someone who will one day strengthen people walking through the very pain you are feeling right now. Chosen one, you are not strange, you are not broken, you are not too much. You are simply being shaped in a realm others cannot access. And this loneliness, this holy aching separation, is only the second of the 7 pains, because next we step into the hidden war inside your own soul, the internal battle that every chosen one must face. Chosen one. Now we step into the 3rd deep pain that only those with a divine assignment ever truly understand. It is the pain of the internal spiritual battle, the hidden war that takes place not around you, but within you, a battlefield no one sees, yet one that shapes your entire destiny. Chosen one. If you have ever felt torn between two versions of yourself, pulled in opposite directions by forces you cannot fully explain, this message is for you. Because the moment heaven marks someone for purpose, the enemy marks them for warfare. And the first arena of that warfare is your inner world. There is a part of you that longs for God, longs for purity, longs for truth. That part of you wants to pray more, seek deeper, walk closer. But there is another part, the part you don't talk about, that resists. A part that gets weary, a part that gets tempted, a part that becomes distracted even when you are trying to do the right thing. Chosen. 1. This war does not mean you are weak. It means you are spiritually alive. Those who are spiritually numb do not feel this conflict. Those who have surrendered to the world do not battle temptation. Those without purpose do not face resistance. But you feel everything. You sense every shift, every pull, every whisper, every temptation, every heaviness. This is not a curse. It is evidence of your spiritual sensitivity. And sensitivity is a gift, though it often feels like a burden. Think of the moments when you tried to pray but felt exhausted for no reason, or when you opened your Bible yet found your mind drifting everywhere except the words in front of you. Think of the times you intended to fast and suddenly everything around you seemed designed to distract or discourage you. These are not coincidences. They are signs that your spirit is in a battle your eyes cannot see. Chosen one. I've been through these seasons myself, seasons where I felt spiritually split in two. I woke up wanting to draw near to God, but by noon I felt my mind pulled into old patterns, old distractions, old weaknesses. I questioned my sincerity, my strength, even my salvation. But over time, heaven taught me a truth that changed everything. The presence of the battle is proof of your calling. If you were insignificant in the spirit, darkness would ignore you. But the enemy attacks potential, not irrelevance. You, chosen one, carry potential, enough potential that the unseen world recognizes your threat, even before you recognize your identity. This internal battle intensifies at specific moments. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how temptation feels stronger right before a breakthrough? How confusion becomes louder right before clarity comes? How old habits suddenly resurface right before God opens a new door for you? This happens because the enemy knows your timing. He can sense when heaven is about to lift you, elevate you, or use you. So he tries to wear you out before you can rise. But your struggle is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're advancing. Even great spiritual leaders face this war. A well-known passage describes a man saying, "I do not do the good I want to do, but the very things I hate, I keep on doing." That confession wasn't made by a beginner or a weak believer. It came from someone deeply called, deeply anointed, deeply chosen, and that should comfort you, chosen one. Your internal war is not a flaw. It is the evidence that heaven has invested deeply in you. This war becomes even more painful because it usually happens in silence. People around you see your smile, your kindness, your strength, but they never see the thoughts you battle, the temptations you resist, the guilt you carry. They do not see the heaviness that settles on your chest at night, or the voice that tries to convince you that you are not enough, not strong enough, not holy enough. But here is the truth. God sees every internal battle you fight, and He honors every victory, no matter how small. Every time you choose kindness over bitterness, heaven applauds. Every time you repent, heaven responds. Every time you rise again after falling, heaven strengthens you. Because this journey is not about perfection, it is about transformation. And transformation is a process, a painful one, yes, but a divine one. Chosen one. The purpose of this internal war is to teach you reliance, to break the illusion of self-strength, to pull you away from pride and push you into grace. It reminds you that you cannot win battles by willpower alone, but by surrender. It shapes humility deep into your spirit, not the kind of humility that weakens, but the kind that stabilizes you when the storms come. This war is not meant to defeat you, it is meant to refine you. And if you pay attention closely, you will notice something after every internal battle. You emerge wiser, more aware, more compassionate, more spiritually alert. The war sharpens you. It trains your discernment. It strengthens your spiritual muscles. It prepares you for the battles ahead, battles that chosen ones do not fight for themselves, but for generations. Chosen one, you are not losing this war. You are learning from it. And that lesson prepares you for the next deep pain, the pain of renunciation, of letting go of things you once loved in order to become who heaven has called you to be. Chosen one. Now we arrive at the fourth deep pain that heaven allows only its anointed ones to experience, the pain of renunciation, the sacred surrendering of things, people, places, and identities you once held close. This is the pain that tests your heart in ways no other pain does. Because it requires you to release not what is evil, but what is familiar. Not what is harmful, but what is comfortable. Not what is toxic, but what is no longer aligned with your destiny. Chosen one. If you have ever felt God whisper, "Let it go," even when everything in you wanted to hold on, then you have already walked through this fire. There are seasons when heaven begins to strip away what cannot travel with you into the next dimension of your purpose. At first, it feels unfair. You look at others, believers, friends, even family, and you wonder why they get to keep their attachments while you are asked to release yours. You wonder why the thing that seems harmless for them weighs so heavily on you. Why the relationship they can manage becomes a spiritual burden for you. Why the environment that energizes others drains your spirit. Chosen one, this is the evidence that you are set apart. Your sensitivity is not weakness, it is spiritual calibration. What others can carry will crush you because your calling demands clarity. What others can tolerate will distort you because your destiny requires purity. This is why the Holy Spirit begins with small renunciations, a show that suddenly feels wrong, music that disturbs your peace habits you once enjoyed but now feel heavy. These early nudges are gentle reminders that heaven is shaping you from the inside out. But then the renunciations become bigger, more painful, more confusing. Friendships that once felt like home begin to feel misaligned. A job you were grateful for starts weighing on your chest. A relationship that once gave you joy becomes spiritually cloudy. A lifestyle that once made sense now feels too small for the person you are becoming, and suddenly you find yourself in a place where the things you love no longer feel like they belong to your story. Chosen one, that feeling is divine disruption. It means heaven is repositioning you. I've walked through this pain myself, seasons where God asked me to release things I wasn't ready to let go of. People I loved. Opportunities I worked for, environments that felt comfortable but were quietly limiting my growth. At the time, I questioned everything. Why me? Why this? Why now? But over time, I realized something profound. God never asks you to release what He plans to replace with something lesser. When heaven removes, heaven upgrades. Abraham experienced this when he was called to leave everything he knew, his land, his family, his culture. He wasn't called away from something wrong. He was called away from something familiar to step into something sacred. And the same pattern unfolds in your life, chosen one. You are being separated from the ordinary so you can rise into the extraordinary. This renunciation, however, is not only about external things. The deepest renunciation is internal, the dying of the ego, the letting go of versions of yourself that no longer align with who God is shaping you to be, the surrendering of pride-controlled timelines and desires that once defined you. This is the renunciation that hurts the most. Because it feels like losing yourself when in reality it is the process of meeting your true self. Chosen one. Heaven will sometimes take you through a season where everything familiar feels like it's being stripped away: your identity, your routines, your social circle, your comfort zone. You may feel empty, confused, and even abandoned. But this emptiness is not a void. It is a preparation. It is the clearing of old soil so new roots can take hold. What you perceive as loss is often divine pruning. Branches that no longer bear fruit must be cut not as punishment, but to make room for new growth. Relationships that cannot rise with you must be released. Environments that limit you must be left behind. Opportunities that do not align with heaven's timing must be surrendered. And though this pruning feels painful, it is one of the greatest signs that you are chosen. Chosen one. I know how it feels to let go of something good simply because God whispered that it wasn't meant to be part of your next chapter. That whisper creates a pressure in your chest that words cannot explain. It forces you into a wrestling match between obedience and comfort. But I promise you, whoever chooses obedience will always walk into divine alignment. Others may not understand your renunciations. They may say you are overreacting or losing your mind. They may try to convince you to settle, to stay, to shrink. But what they call unnecessary, heaven calls essential, because they do not see the calling on your life. They do not hear the voice that speaks to your spirit. They do not feel the destiny pulling you forward. Renunciation is not rejection from God. It is preparation by God. He is emptying your hands so He can fill them with something greater. He is clearing your path so you do not trip over what was never meant to remain. He is redirecting your life so you can step into the fullness of who you were created to be. And now that you understand this pain, we move to the fifth, the agony of divine delay, the slow and silent seasons where God seems distant yet is working more deeply than you can see. Chosen one. Now we step into the fifth deep pain that only those marked by heaven endure: the pain of divine delay, the long silent seasons where it feels like heaven itself has paused and your prayers seem to echo into nothingness. This is the pain that tests your endurance, your trust, and your identity all at once. It is the pain that makes you wonder if God still hears you, if the promises spoken over your life were real, or if you somehow misunderstood His voice. Chosen one, you know this pain intimately. You have prayed prayers that felt urgent, cried tears that seemed to demand an immediate answer, and waited for God to move in situations that felt impossible to bear alone. You have watched others receive quick breakthroughs, while your own journey seemed frozen in time. You saw doors open for people who barely asked, while the doors you knocked on until your knuckles bled remained tightly shut. And perhaps the most painful part is this: deep down you know you heard God. You know He spoke to you, nudged you, gave you dreams, visions, and confirmations. You held the promise in your hands, yet the fulfillment seemed to drift further and further away. That tension between what God said and what you see creates a heaviness in your spirit that only the chosen ever experience. Chosen one, divine delay does not mean divine denial, but it does mean divine preparation. Look at your own journey. There were moments you felt ready for elevation, ready for relationship, ready for breakthrough, ready for the next chapter. But something inside you, the part heaven could see, was not ready yet. Not because you were wrong, but because God was shaping you deeper than the breakthrough you were asking for. Divine delay is not about withholding, it is about aligning. Alignment takes time. Destiny takes time. Character takes time. Healing takes time. Strength takes time. Wisdom takes time. And God, who sees the end before the beginning, knows exactly how long each layer of your preparation requires. I've lived this pain too. There were seasons where everything in my life seemed paused. I prayed for direction and received silence. I asked for movement and saw nothing. I looked for signs and felt abandoned. It felt as though heaven had forgotten my name. But later, when the door finally opened, I realized something powerful. If God had answered me earlier, I would have walked into a destiny I wasn't ready to carry. Chosen one. This same truth applies to you. Your calling is too weighty to be rushed. Your assignment is too sacred to be mishandled. Your purpose is too large to be released prematurely. Heaven delays not to break you, but to build foundations strong enough to hold what you have prayed for. Divine delay also exposes what is within you. When nothing is happening on the outside, everything is happening on the inside. Delay reveals your faith. It purifies your motives. It sharpens your discernment. It teaches you to distinguish between your timing and God's perfect timing. Consider Joseph the dreamer. He received a divine promise as a teenager, but the fulfillment didn't come until years later, after betrayal, after false accusations, after isolation, after being forgotten in a prison cell. The delay was never punishment. It was positioning. His character needed to grow into the size of his calling. Chosen one, your delay is positioning you too. It is teaching you to pray with maturity, not desperation. It is teaching you to trust beyond emotion, beyond circumstances, beyond seasons. It is training you to walk not by sight, but by faith. Because the promise God placed in you is too precious to be activated at the wrong time. Divine delay will also reveal the voices around you. Some people stay only when progress is visible, but delay exposes who recognizes your calling even when nothing seems to be happening. It shows you who believes with you and who only believes in what they can see. It separates those assigned to your destiny from those merely attached to your journey. Chosen one. The silence you've been experiencing is not emptiness. It is incubation. Heaven grows your blessings in the dark. Seeds take root underground before anything appears above the soil. Babies develop in the womb long before they take their first breath, and destinies grow in silence before they manifest in glory. What feels like inactivity is actually divine activity, hidden, wholly strategic. There will come a day when the very door that refused to open for years will swing wide without warning. The blessing that once felt distant will rush toward you with acceleration. The promise that felt forgotten will unfold suddenly, beautifully, undeniably. And when that moment comes, you will understand why God took his time. Chosen one. Your waiting is not wasted. Your prayers are not ignored. Your tears are not unseen. Heaven keeps every word you've spoken and every tear you've released. Nothing is lost. Everything is stored. What you are experiencing now is the silence before the fulfillment, the same silence that precedes every miracle. And now that we've walked through the pain of divine delay, we move into the sixth pain, one even deeper, one even quieter, the pain of being misunderstood and carrying battles no one else recognizes. Chosen one. Now we enter the sixth deep pain that only those marked by heaven ever truly endure. The pain of being misunderstood, the agony of carrying battles so invisible, so internal, so spiritually complex that no one around you fully grasps what you're walking through. This is not the misunderstanding that comes from miscommunication. This is the misunderstanding that comes from misidentification, when people see your face but cannot see your spirit, when they observe your actions but cannot discern your calling, when they hear your words but cannot perceive the weight behind them. Chosen one. If you have ever tried to express something burning inside you only to be met with blank stares, confusion or skepticism, you know this pain. If you have shared a dream, a revelation, or a spiritual insight and sensed others shifting uncomfortably because they could not understand the realm you were speaking from, you know this pain. If you have ever been labeled too intense, too emotional, too spiritual, or too sensitive, then heaven is revealing something to you right now. Your spirit operates in a dimension others are not calibrated to hear. This is because you were not built like everyone else. Chosen one. The misunderstandings you experience are not failures in communication. They are evidence of a calling that exceeds human language. Your identity is tied to realms others do not access. You hear differently. You sense differently. You feel deeply. You discern atmospheres before others even notice something is wrong. What overwhelms others barely phases you, and what seems small to others impacts you like a spiritual earthquake. This difference is not a flaw, it is a marker. I've walked through seasons where I tried to explain the heaviness on my spirit, the urgency I felt in prayer, the warnings I sensed about people or situations. I spoke from a place of discernment, but others responded from a place of logic, and the gap between us felt infinite. I remember moments when God showed me something in a dream or whispered something in my spirit, and when I tried to share it, even with those close to me, I watched confusion cloud their eyes. That gap, that distance, broke me for a long time. But heaven later revealed something profound to me. You cannot expect people who walk by sight to understand the battles of someone who walks by revelation. Chosen one. You have fought wars in silence that others would not survive. You have carried burdens in your chest that would crush those who mock your sensitivity. You have battled thoughts, temptations, attacks, and sudden waves of heaviness without ever telling a soul. And much of it was because you knew deep down that explaining yourself would not bring comfort, only more confusion. You are not just misunderstood by people, you are misunderstood by mindsets. People judge your decisions through the lens of logic, not destiny. They judge your silence without understanding spiritual exhaustion. They judge your solitude without recognizing heavenly separation. They judge your boundaries without sensing the warfare you fight when you let the wrong people near you. Chosen one. This pain is also tied to your emotional and spiritual depth. You feel things intensely, joy, pain, love, spiritual shifts. You sense when someone's energy is off, when someone's motives are not pure, when someone's words carry hidden poison. People call it overthinking, but heaven calls it discernment. You have dreams that feel too real, impressions you cannot ignore, and internal alarms that warn you of danger before danger appears. You've walked into rooms and felt heaviness that no one else noticed. You've spoken with people and sensed deceit behind their smiles. You've heard someone's words while simultaneously feeling the truth hiding behind them. This ability has cost you relationships. It has cost you opportunities. It has cost you peace. But it has also saved your life more times than you will ever realize. Being misunderstood also means you often carry emotional weight alone. You smile through battles. You lead while tired. You comfort others during seasons where you yourself feel spiritually drained. You hold others up while no one sees the tears you cry afterward. And yet heaven sees, heaven hears, heaven understands. Chosen one. The misunderstanding you face is not rejection, it is protection. Heaven shields your calling from people who would mishandle it. Heaven conceals your depth from those who would reduce it. Heaven hides your spiritual identity from those who might try to sabotage it, steal it, or suffocate it. This pain also expands your compassion. It teaches you to love with wisdom. It teaches you to listen carefully, speak carefully, choose carefully. It trains you not to react from emotion but from discernment. It prepares you to guide others who will one day walk through the same loneliness, confusion, and spiritual sensitivity that you are navigating now. Chosen. One, know this: you are not difficult. You are not dramatic. You are not too much. You are simply tuned to a frequency others cannot hear. You are a spiritual instrument playing a song. Heaven composed a melody the world is not accustomed to. And one day, the very people who misunderstood you will seek you for the clarity you carry. Now that you understand this sixth pain, we move to the seventh and final one, the pain of hidden greatness, the quiet ache of knowing you were meant for more, yet being kept unseen until heaven says, now. Chosen one. Now we step into the seventh and final deep pain, the pain of hidden greatness, the ache of knowing you were born for something extraordinary, yet being kept unseen, overlooked, underestimated, or placed in the background while others rise into the spotlight. This is one of the heaviest pains a chosen soul carries because it touches your identity, your destiny, your patience, and your faith all at once. Chosen one. If you have ever felt like there is something powerful inside you that the world has not yet witnessed, if you have sensed a greatness in your spirit that your surroundings do not reflect, if you have felt like you are too large for the life you are currently living, then you already know the weight of this pain. There is a silent pressure that builds inside the chosen ones, a knowing, a pull, a spiritual memory of who you were created to be long before the world ever placed a label on you. You feel it when you are alone, you feel it when you pray, you feel it when you dream, and you especially feel it when you watch others walk into opportunities that your heart quietly longs for. Yet heaven keeps you hidden. Not because you are unworthy, not because you are unprepared, but because your timing is sacred. Chosen one. Heaven hides what it has crowned. Heaven protects what carries great value. Heaven conceals those who carry oil, wisdom, and divine assignment, because not every environment can handle the weight of your identity. I have lived this pain deeply. There were seasons where I felt suffocated by my own potential. Seasons where I knew I was carrying revelations, ideas, gifts, and spiritual weight that had no room to breathe in my environment. I felt trapped inside a life that was too small. I looked in the mirror and knew I was not living anywhere near the level of calling God placed in me. And yet heaven whispered, "Wait." At the time, that whisper felt like rejection. But later, I learned the truth. Heaven hides the chosen to mature the chosen. Because if you were revealed too early, if you were elevated too soon, if you were exposed before being spiritually fortified, the very blessing designed to lift you would crush you. Chosen one, now the pain of hidden greatness is a refining fire. You watch others receive recognition, but your spirit says, not yet. You see others gaining opportunities, but heaven whispers, hold still. You feel the world moving fast around you while your life feels painfully slow. This is not because you are behind. This is because you must be precise. Greatness is heavy. Purpose is heavy. Leadership is heavy. Anointing is heavy. Heaven does not allow you to carry these things lightly. And so you are hidden while your strength grows. You are hidden while your discernment sharpens. You are hidden while your character stabilizes. You are hidden while your spirit learns obedience, humility, and resilience. Chosen one. The truth is this: before God reveals you publicly, He shapes you privately. Hidden seasons feel like stillness, but in reality, they are seasons of intense spiritual construction. You may not see the changes on the outside, but heaven is building something inside you that cannot be shaken. And yet, the pain remains. Because part of you knows, truly knows, that you were created for impact, for influence, for transformation, for generational change. You feel like a lion trapped in a small cage, like an eagle forced to walk when it was born to soar, like a flame waiting for the wind that will ignite it fully. This inner tension is not delusion. It is destiny crying out. Chosen one, you have carried visions that scared you. You have had ideas that felt too big for your environment. You have seen glimpses of a future that felt nothing like your present. You have sensed a level of influence that seems impossible from where you stand today. That is not fantasy. That is prophecy. Heaven often reveals your identity long before it reveals your platform. It shows you the crown long before it allows you to wear it. It whispers destiny long before others recognize your name, and that in between that silent middle space creates one of the deepest aches the chosen ones ever feel. But hear me, chosen one. Hidden does not mean forgotten. Hidden does not mean denied. Hidden does not mean overlooked. Hidden means reserved. Reserved for the right moment, reserved for the right environment, reserved for the right assignment, reserved for the people who will recognize your value instead of mocking your difference. Heaven is not delaying your destiny. Heaven is aligning it. When your time comes, and it will, you will rise with a force that shocks those who underestimated you. You will walk through doors that once felt sealed. You will speak words that carry power. You will step into places that need exactly what you were shaped to give. And everything you endured in silence will suddenly make sense. Now that we have walked through all 7 pains, there remains one more part, the final segment, where everything comes together as heaven reveals how these pains were not punishment, but preparation. Chosen one. Now that we have walked through the 7 deep pains that shape every anointed life, heaven invites you into the final revelation. This is where all the threads of your journey begin to weave together. This is where you finally see that none of your battles were wasted. None of your tears were ignored. None of your struggles were pointless. Every one of the 7 pains was a piece of a sacred process, a divine shaping that has been forming your true identity since the day you entered this world. Chosen one, you have carried rejection that broke your heart, yet that rejection purified your circle and lifted your dependence from people to God. You have walked through loneliness that felt unbearable, yet that loneliness sharpened your ears to the voice of heaven. You have endured internal battles that made you question your own worth. Yet those battles strengthened your spirit into something unshakable. You have faced renunciations that took pieces of your life away, yet those very losses cleared your path for what is coming. You have endured silence from God that felt endless, yet in that silence your faith matured into endurance. You have been misunderstood again and again, yet in that misunderstanding you discovered your spiritual sight. You have carried hidden greatness with an ache in your chest, yet that ache was the pressure of your calling, pushing against the walls of your old self, preparing you to expand. Chosen one. None of this was accidental. Heaven was not punishing you. Heaven was preparing you. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to walk a path of ease. The anointing on your life required depth. It required discipline. It required the soil of suffering, the fire of endurance, the solitude of spiritual growth. Heaven has been shaping you away from the eyes of the world, so that when you finally rise, you will not crumble under the weight of your assignment. Every chosen person in Scripture walked this same path. Not the same events, but the same pattern. A separation, a stripping, a silence, a hidden season, a calling too heavy for human shoulders, a destiny too large for an unprepared heart. Your story follows this heavenly blueprint because your life is tied to something eternal, something larger than you, something heaven trusted you to carry. Chosen one. Take a moment and look at your own life. Look at the wounds you survived. Look at the storms that tried to break you. Look at the nights you thought you would never recover from. Look at the moments when you felt emptied out, drained, unseen, misunderstood, and completely forgotten. And yet here you are. Your spirit is still sensitive. Your heart is still open. Your faith still flickers, even on the days when you felt it dying. You survived everything that was meant to destroy you, and that is the clearest sign that heaven's hand has always been on you. There is a reason the enemy fought you so early, a reason you were attacked through relationships, a reason you felt rejection long before you understood your worth, a reason you battled shame, confusion, spiritual fatigue, and emotional isolation. The enemy cannot see the full plan, but he can sense destiny, and he sensed yours from the beginning. But what the enemy tried to break, heaven used to strengthen. Chosen one. There is a glory that comes only through suffering, a wisdom found only through endurance, a strength forged only in the fire, and you have carried it all. You have been trained in secret for a future that has not yet been revealed. You have been shaped in hidden places for a purpose that will someday touch others in ways you cannot yet imagine. And now heaven speaks this truth into your spirit. Your pain was not a curse. Your process was not a punishment. Your delays were not divine silence. Your loneliness was not abandonment. Everything you endured has been part of your spiritual becoming. The chosen ones of heaven are refined, not rushed. They are hidden, not forgotten. They are stretched, not shattered. And when heaven finally reveals them, they rise with authority that does not shake, with clarity that does not fade, with strength that does not collapse. Chosen one, you are nearing the season where all the pieces come together. The doors that once refused to open will open all at once. The purpose that felt distant will begin to unfold. The connections that were delayed will suddenly appear. The identity you carried quietly will rise into full expression. You are not stepping into destiny. Destiny is stepping into you. Chosen one, lift your head. Your journey has been long, but your story is far from over. What awaits you was worth every tear, every trial, every goodbye, every lonely night, every silent season, every inner battle, and every sacrifice. You were chosen, you were shaped, you were refined, you were preserved, and now you are being prepared to be revealed. This is your awakening. This is your becoming. This is the moment heaven has been shaping you toward since the beginning, chosen one. As we come to the end of this message, I want you to pause and honor what is stirring within you. Something sacred has been awakened today. These 7 deep pains were never random moments, never meaningless wounds. They were the very signs heaven placed in your journey to reveal who you truly are. Each struggle has been shaping you, each silent battle has been refining you, and each tear has been witnessing your transformation into the anointed one you were always meant to become. Chosen one. Your spirit recognizes this truth. That tightening in your chest, that quiet resonance, that sudden clarity, these are confirmations. Heaven is revealing your hidden identity piece by piece. You are not ordinary, you never were. From the beginning you were set apart, woven with markers of purpose, guided through storms that were designed not to break you, but to prepare you. Everything you have endured has been part of a divine unfolding, a sacred refinement of the soul. Anointed one, step forward now with new understanding. Your rejection was protection. Your loneliness was instruction. Your battles were training. Your delays were alignment. Your hiddenness was preservation. And your longing for something greater was heaven whispering that you were created for more than the world ever recognized. Do not shrink back. Do not question your worth. You are stepping into the clarity that your spirit has been craving for years. Chosen one, may this revelation settle deeply into your heart. May you walk with authority in the identity heaven has affirmed. May you embrace your calling with courage, humility, and unwavering faith. You are not stepping into a new season, you are stepping into your true self. A self that has been formed through fire, shaped in silence, and strengthened through every unseen battle. As you leave this video, carry this truth: you are chosen and your path is holy. Walk with your head lifted. Walk with your spirit aligned. Walk knowing that heaven goes before you, behind you, and within you. And if this message spoke to your soul, feel free to share what resonated with you in the comments. Stay connected with this channel, not as a viewer, but as a fellow traveler on the sacred path of the chosen. Your destiny is calling, and heaven is not finished revealing who you are.